Last night, I spoke with Donald Trump. I'm sincerely grateful that he's doing well and recovering, and we had a short but good conversation. Jill and I are keeping him and his family in our prayers. We also extend our deepest condolences to the family of the victim who was killed. He was a father. He was protecting his family from the bullets that were being fired. And he lost his life. God love him.
And you know who he's talking about, the person that lost his life. Let's call him a hero. His name was Corey Comperatore. He was a former fire chief from Buffalo Township. He was actually shielding his young daughter from the gunfire. Man. And she has a very lengthy post on Facebook and Twitter, if you can find it. I won't go through the whole thing, but she basically, her name is Allison. Yesterday, time stopped. And when it started again, my family and I started living a real-life nightmare. What was supposed to be an exciting day that we had all looked forward to, especially my dad, turned into the most traumatizing experience someone could imagine. And she kind of goes through the day and just ends it by saying what a great father he was and how much he loved his family and basically took a bullet for them.
It's just awful. Let's bring CK on. CK Redlinger, former SWAT and counter sniper here in DeKalb County for many years, was a homicide detective, worked overseas in detail, all over the place. CK, welcome.
Hey, good to see you guys. How's everyone?
Just a little numb. Leslie put it best, just a little bit
I feel
numb.
You. Yeah.
It's got to be crazy for you watching all of this unfold because you did that job.
Yes, many years ago, long time ago, but, the elements of trying to secure and protect people all stay the same. Technology changes. Of course, training hopefully gets better. But, yeah, I could definitely appreciate where different protectors in that whole situation were probably feeling at that point.
We've got some callers teed up. If you would like to ask CK a question, 470-741-4999.
Hey, Morning X, who's this?
This is Diane.
Hey, Diane, you're on with CK Redlinger, a former SWAT counter sniper guy. What kind of question do you have for him?
My question is based on footage I've watched. The Secret Service must have had their sight on the shooter on top of that building because the shots he fired immediately after the Secret Service took him out. Why did they wait to shoot him if they knew he was up there and they had that sight on him?
That's a good question.
Was it protocol that said you don't shoot till shots are fired, or?
Yeah, I wonder that too.
Why did it happen that way?
Yeah, hi Diane. I suspect that those counter snipers did not have him identified at the point he was actually shooting. I think they were panning the area. Everybody has kind of what's called a sector of fire that they're responsible for. I think they were scanning their sector of fire. Maybe they had even heard through radio communications that there are reports of a person with a gun on a rooftop, and maybe they were scanning a further out rooftop. And then I think when the shots were fired, I see that counter sniper take his eye out of the scope, which tells me he was probably because looking through a scope is like looking through a straw. You don't have a wide field of view. And so I believe he took his eye out to get a better field of view, probably identified the suspect at that point, put his eye back in the scope, adjusted his aim, and then took the shot.
Is CK, from someone who's done the job like you, do you have to wait for a command to fire, or do you have that autonomy to pull the trigger?
In a circumstance like that, they would have that autonomy. Different missions and different roles call for different types of policies. There's a word called compromise authority that's thrown around. It's essentially gives snipers the ability to decide on their own when a threat presents itself in order to engage it. So that's in a scenario like that. Yeah, they would have not had to wait for someone to tell them to take a shot.
I was curious about that. Diane, thank you very much for your question. Hey, Morning X. Good morning. Who is this?
Morning. This is Dylan.
Hi, Dylan. You're on with CK Redlinger, former SWAT counter sniper. What's your question?
So, big question. How was that individual able to get so close to former President Donald Trump?
I mean, it is close.
I mean,
so
seriously,
close.
very close.
Yeah, that is the million-dollar question that we're all looking for an answer for. I can tell you that under normal circumstances, you would have rooftops locked down. You would, that's the whole point of denying the terrain to the enemy so that, they cannot get that advantage on you. That would be common to lock down those buildings and the rooftops out to 1,000 meters plus. So why there was a breach in security allowing that suspect to scale a building and be only 130, 150 yards away from the principal is definitely the question we're all waiting to hear the answer for.
I wonder what jobs. Thank you for your call and your question. Thank you very
thanks,
much.
Dylan.
Of course.
Have a good day. Bye-bye. You're going to wonder, you have to wonder who will lose their job. Head of Secret Service, head of that detail. Because that building, when you look at that overhead shot, is so close that it's baffling that there was nobody assigned to it. There was nobody on it. I mean, did dude go to the bathroom? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's so glaring that there had to be something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and at the operator level, you always ask for more than what you typically get, and so I wouldn't be surprised if this comes down to all those folks on the ground asking, hey, I wanted 4 counter sniper teams, or I wanted 6 counter sniper teams, and I wanted this asset and that asset, and the decision being made that no, you get 2 counter sniper teams. If that's, we know there was at least that.
Wow.
So,
Hey, Morning X, who's this?
Hey, this is Don.
Hey, Don.
Don, what's your question?
I would like to know who might be complicit within the government to create this environment that has caused this incident. And there have been others in the past, from JFK to RFK to MLK to Reagan, many other incidents. This is not just some lone 20-year-old deciding I'm going to go shoot the president. And I think a lot of information that is going to be coming out now that we have modern cell phones, and there's going to be a lot of video. But I'd like to know who in our government.
That's kind of a tough question for CK to answer. I know you don't want to speculate, CK. That's a much bigger
speculation. But I think he, when you mentioned about investigations in the modern age, things are much more transparent as it relates. You're going to so many agencies are involved in this, and these things don't happen very often. So we're just getting started.
Yeah. Thank you very much for your call. We appreciate it. Thank you.
CK, could it have been like a just miscommunication between local and state police and Secret Service? And I know we're all trying to get answers.
Do you mean as to why the rooftop was not covered on, or
yes,
that the information wasn't being passed along fast enough, or?
Well, but that one cop climbed up apparently that ladder, and the guy took aim at him, and he went back down, and that's when he apparently hastily took the shot or shots at Trump before anything could happen. But it goes back to, how is there a dude on a roof there?
That's the question that I have more than anything is what were the measures that failed that allowed a person with a gun to come in to that area in the first place?
It's just so crazy.
I think they were all scrambling, and I think that they probably didn't see him until they saw him and took the shot.
We'll be back with CK Redlinger, former SWAT counter sniper. You're listening to The Morning X. This is 99X.